Right now, the Madison School Board deciding how to move forward with buying a new building to house programs for students with special needs.
And we'll meet a Wisconsin sports super fan all the way from Australia with an ambitious goal this year.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
We begin with breaking news. Jennifer Street Market will remain open after being able to purchase the land it has been leasing for the past several decades. According to a Facebook post, the deal will be finalized on Wednesday. The store was at risk of closing after the property owners filed for bankruptcy earlier this year. The post says a neighborhood fundraising campaign was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Tonight, parents, teachers, and advocates for students with disabilities are pleading with the Madison School Board not to approve buying a building to house programs for those students. Amy Reed joins us live to explain what we've seen and heard tonight. Amy?
Yeah, just a couple minutes ago, the board approved spending $4.5 million to buy this new building. That'll be the new home for the district's intensive intervention programs. That was despite most people that spoke on this subject tonight that were against the district doing this. Primarily, they're worried about segregating students with disabilities to this building. Right now, these programs are at a rental facility and serve about 2% of the students with disabilities. And with the size of the building, some advocates and parents said that they were worried that the programs would expand to the rest of the students in special education. The district said that's not their plan. Tonight, we heard from a few people who grew up in segregated programs, and they said they don't want to see the district do this to another generation.
I myself have a master's degree who was told after earning it that if I didn't have disabilities, I'd be working. Oh, that's still gonna happen, guys. And if getting the job is finding my way to fight you guys on what's going on with this building, so be it.
We did hear from a couple people who work with the students in these intensive intervention programs. They said they want a permanent place to do the work that they already care about, and they said these students deserve a permanent space that can be their own, which many on the board obviously agreed with tonight as they approved this. There were 3 people that dissented in this vote, and an amendment was passed to it that has a couple stipulations. We'll put the details for that on our website, channel3000.com.
The story will continue to follow. Amy Reed reporting it. Amy, thank you.
Foxconn says it has been unable to recruit the necessary employees in Wisconsin. WPR is reporting the company's director of U.S. Strategic Initiatives says he traveled across the country to attract talent but has fallen short. In a letter to a member of the Evers administration, the Foxconn rep says it appears there may not be enough manufacturing workers in the state. This comes about a week after the release of another letter to Foxconn from the Evers administration saying if the company does renegotiate its 2017 deal with the state, Foxconn won't be eligible for state incentives. At least one person is dead from dangerous storms sweeping across the South today. The sheriff's office in Vernon Parish, Louisiana, says the person died when an apparent tornado struck a home. A spokesman says officials fear others could be hurt, though first responders are still trying to reach hard-hit areas. The storms destroyed buildings, toppled trees, and downed power lines in several Louisiana communities before causing additional damage in Mississippi.
And Wisconsin climatologists say this year was the wettest ever across the state and the Midwest since record-keeping began back in 1895. More than 43 inches of rain and snow fell across 9 states in the Midwest through November, according to data from the Midwestern Regional Climate Center that breaks the old record set in 1993 by 2 inches. Let's get a look at our first alert forecast now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Well, you know, we just heard about the wettest year here. Take a look at this map of the United States to see where those this year of 2019 being the wettest from some of the major reporting stations. And all the dots in blue are in the top 10. The ones that are in the red are the wettest year. Here in Madison, so far 44.95 inches of rain or melted snow through the middle of December. You can see the wettest year, just over 50 inches of rain, but normally we should have about 35 for the entire year. So it has been a wet year, no doubt about it. High resolution Doppler radar, though, free of precipitation tonight. We had some snow last night, but nothing tonight. High temperatures today, just shy of 30 in Madison. We hit 29. Janesville did hit the 30-degree mark, as did Monroe. Current temperatures are in the middle 20s in Madison and in the low 20s to upper teens to our north. Look for partly cloudy skies overnight. Low temperatures will drop to around 15 here in town. For tomorrow, look for another partly sunny day. High temperature right about normal at 29. Later on, I'll take a look at a forecast that includes mild weather as we head toward the Christmas holiday.
Okay, Gary, thank you. New information about the suspect in a homicide that took place over the weekend, the third of the year in the city of Madison. 20-year-old Marcus Hamilton was arrested on a tentative charge of first-degree intentional homicide after he allegedly shot and killed 18-year-old Gunnar Holum of Dodgeville. Today, Madison police spokesperson Joel Despain confirmed that in 2008, 11 years ago, Hamilton was at home when his father was shot to death at his Tempe Drive apartment. Earlier this year, Hamilton was also accepted into the First Offenders Program, which allows defendants to avoid a criminal conviction with a deferred prosecution contract. Now, Hamilton's contract was assigned after he was charged with forgery.
A 13-year-old Verona boy crashed a stolen car at Easttown Mall this weekend. This happened Saturday morning. He lost control and hit a light pole, injuring himself and 2 other teen passengers. Police say the driver was picked up by some other teens who police believe were driving a stolen SUV, leaving the 2 injured passengers behind. The 13-year-old later arrived at a local emergency room and claimed to be injured while riding a bicycle. There won't be a jury trial for a northwestern Wisconsin man accused of hitting and killing 3 Girl Scouts and one of the girls' mothers. 22-year-old Colton True pleaded no contest today. He was found guilty of 4 counts of vehicular homicide. Last November, prosecutors say he was high from huffing aerosol can fumes when he crashed into a Girl Scout troop picking up trash along a highway in Lake Haley, which is just north of Eau Claire. He's expected to be sentenced in March.
Madison Fire Department says it switched to a PFAS-free firefighting foam, becoming the first major city in Wisconsin to make that change. Today, firefighters showed us that new foam they'll use the most. It's called Knockout. When tested, it showed fluorine levels at about 1 part per million. That's compared to typical firefighting foam that has 5,000 to 7,000 parts per million, making it much safer for the environment and with fewer health side effects as well. Children's Hospital of Wisconsin will temporarily not allow kids under the age of 12 to visit. That's to help prevent the spread of the flu and other viral illnesses and protect the health of their patients, their families, and staff members as well. The annual temporary visitor restriction will go into place Wednesday at both Milwaukee and Fox Valley hospitals. That policy does not include clinic appointments or emergency department visits.
For the 3rd time, the House of Representatives is expected to vote to impeach a U.S. president. That is expected to happen Wednesday. Republicans in the Senate are already looking ahead to the next step. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer sent a letter to Majority Leader Mitch McConnell proposing Chief Justice John Roberts, who will preside over the trial, issue subpoenas to 4 administration officials, including acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Republicans are trying to work with the president to figure out how the trial should look.
Governor Tony Evers calling on leaders of the Joint Finance Committee to hold a special session this week for funding to address homelessness. In a hand-delivered note, the governor said he submitted a request in July to have the committee provide more than $3 million a year for homelessness initiatives. He called on the leaders to hold a special meeting this Thursday to discuss and act on that funding request. In a ruling that may impact cities across the country today, the U.S. Supreme Court declined to hear arguments about a law banning homeless people from sleeping on public sidewalks and in parks. The case was brought by the city of Boise, Idaho, which created the ordinance, saying it was needed to make sure the areas remain safe, accessible, and sanitary. A lower court struck down the ordinance, saying it is a violation of the 8th Amendment, barring cruel and unusual punishment.
Boeing has announced that it will suspend production of the 737 MAX starting in January as it waits for the embattled plane to be recertified to return to service. The 737 MAX was grounded worldwide in March after 2 fatal crashes, a Lion Air jet into the Java Sea in October 2018 and an Ethiopian Airlines plane near Addis Ababa in March that killed 346 people. However, getting the plane back in the air has proven immensely difficult for Boeing, causing major financial and reputational issues for the company. Flames shooting from a plane's engine forced an emergency landing today for a United Airlines flight from San Diego. A passenger recorded the incident. United said in a statement, that the Chicago-bound flight diverted to New Mexico, landing safely in Albuquerque. The plane experienced a mechanical issue with one of the engines. No injuries were reported, and a full inspection will confirm the issue with the engine. Well, it's not just here at home. Packers fans the world over are known for their dedication.
And Madeline O'Neill introduces us to a super Wisconsin sports fan who is taking his commitment to the next level. Maddie?
When it comes to Wisconsin football, Jazz Singh doesn't discriminate. He's equal parts Packer and Badger fan. Lucky for him, both teams are having great seasons, especially considering his goal this year.
I knew it would be ambitious.
For starters, Jazz Singh will tell you Camp Randall feels like home.
I love it, yeah.
Lambeau Field does too.
I think they're both amazing.
Even though Singh is from halfway across the world.
I moved from Australia to northeast Wisconsin.
When it's this cold, your first question was probably the same as mine. Why?
Became involved with the Packers in 2010. I was amazed by how such a small town could have such a big club with such an amazing following from around the world.
Since that season's Super Bowl win, Singh also fell in love with the tailgating and the people.
I came to Green Bay to visit Lambeau, and I was walking around, walked into a bar and met a bartender, and he took me ice fishing, and I made a friend for life.
It's that welcoming football crowd we know well here in Wisconsin, who are now helping him with a goal maybe as ambitious as the Super Bowl.
Or they ask, have you been to this game? Have you been to that game? And they find it crazy that I managed to do all the games for both teams.
Singh is going to each and every Packer
Go, Pack, go!
and Badger game, both home, where he's earned his keep at Lambeau, and away.
Special, like a bit of a celebrity.
He's had some help along the road.
I think just that they think it's a crazy and unique story that someone from the other side of the world has embraced Wisconsin sports.
Singh has been offered drinks, dinner, tailgating opportunities, and tickets.
I've been pretty fortunate with the generosity and hospitality of the people.
The Badgers and Packers have been pretty lucky too.
I chose a really good season, everyone's saying.
As the Badgers prepare for the Rose Bowl and the Packers for the playoffs, Singh is also setting his sights high.
I'm looking forward to going to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl.
Singh's home for the holidays is wherever his football teams take him. Now, fingers crossed for a Super Bowl walk-off into the sunset kind of ending.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Now, a program through Singh's job as a school teacher in Perth, Australia, has allowed him to do this, taking a year sabbatical. Now, of course, next stop for him is Minnesota for the Vikings-Packer game. Singh is documenting his journey on his website. We'll have a link on channel3000.com.
Pretty
Dedication.
Yeah, unique guy. It takes a lot of money, too, all those tickets.
Yeah, he says a lot of people have been really generous, so he hasn't had to spend quite as much as he thought he would.
That's nice. That adds up. All games, all year.
Every game, home and away.
Maddie, thank you.
Ahead at 10, a Madison police force begins its retirement, and now the department is asking for help funding the next one. We'll have that story coming up next.
Welcome back. Madison police are on a quest for a new horse after a retirement this morning.
The horse, named Leo, developed an eye condition that no longer makes him a suitable officer. Madison police are searching for his replacement now. The team says they need about $5,000 to make ends meet. The money will cover the new horse's equipment and training, which prepares them for a job working around cars and loud sounds.
We introduce them to a lot of the things that they'll see in the urban environment. We try to give them as many opportunities to see those things as we can so they're not worried. I don't know where you're going, buddy. So they're not worried when they get out and they see it out in the field.
Leo retired this morning, and now the Madison Mounted Police team are trying to find him a forever home. Although he will be replaced, officers say they will miss him deeply.
The open enrollment period on the insurance marketplace has been extended. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services says that deadline is now December 18th. That is Wednesday. The move comes after weeks of low enrollment reports for 2020 plans. Some people also had some issues during the final hours of open enrollment, which was originally yesterday. Back in 2017, the Trump administration slashed the budget for ACA health plan advertising by 90%.
The partnership between Oprah Winfrey and Weight Watchers marches on. The media mogul has extended her partnership with Weight Watchers for another 5 years. She joined the company's board in October of 2015 and bought a 10% stake in the company worth $43 million. Shares have soared nearly 500% since she joined. And for the first time since it was released 25 years ago, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You has hit the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. The song's previous record was #3 on the chart. Now a holiday classic, the song was first released in 1994 on Carey's Merry Christmas album. She was 24 when she recorded that.
Now, you guys always poke fun at me and my musical taste, right?
It's so easy.
That was like the first big Christmas song that I kind of really bought into.
Really?
Yeah,
I figured it was C.W. McCall.
It's one of my. Well, C.W. McCall only had one Christmas song that was called "Sing Silent Night." It's not quite as high on the Billboard chart.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
C.W. McCall.
I can go with Mariah
Let's get to weather
Let's
before
we have to talk about Christmas because we're not going to see any snow around here. 3 things you need to know in the forecast. Well, seasonally cold weather for tomorrow, high temperatures upper 20s. Wednesday is going to be a cold day. Look for high temperatures only around 18 after starting out around 7 degrees with wind chills, perhaps as cold as 10 below zero early in the morning. But no snow expected through Christmas as the weather pattern just continues quiet around here. To our south, winter storm warnings are in effect around the St. Louis area over toward Indianapolis, winter weather advisories into New England. That's where the snow has been falling, and they've got over ½ foot of snow on the ground there. To the north, we've got a big snowpack. Right where we are, nothing, and doesn't look like anything's going to happen here because after that cold snap for the next couple of days, those temperatures go up above normal, well above normal, in fact, by 10 to 15 degrees and stay that way all the way through the Christmas holiday. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Most of the country expected to see above normal temperatures, the highest probability just to our south and west, and precipitation expected to be below normal to the east. To our south and west, that's where the higher probabilities of precipitation will be. Our weather pattern may become a little more active, but not until after the Christmas holiday. And future track snowfall, we've been showing this to you almost every night, still not showing any snow through Christmas Day. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet out there tonight. Skies have been partly cloudy. High today 29, the low 19, very close to the averages of 30 and 16. And right now we're sitting at 23 degrees. Skies have clouded up, but it's a thin overcast. The winds out of the west-northwest at 6 miles per hour and our wind chill at 16 degrees. Temperatures are in the single digits and teens over the thicker snow cover to the north, lower to middle 20s here. But on weather track, you can see the upper level winds from the southwest. There's actually a big trough of low pressure, and that's what's spinning up that big storm that's bringing snow to the south and severe weather continuing in that squall line. We had the earlier story about the tornado in Louisiana. There have been tornado reports from eastern Mississippi all the way into Alabama. In fact, a tornado on the ground right now just south of Birmingham, Alabama. But while this is going on to our south, we're staying away from any kind of adverse weather. To our north, there's a weak cold front that's kind of held up, and then a second front just north of the U.S.-Canadian border. That'll drop in for Wednesday, cooling our temperatures down by a few degrees. So these temperatures right now seasonably cold for the most part, teens and 20s. And on future track, we'll see that skies remain partly sunny for tomorrow. High temperatures will be in the upper 20s. So our forecast overnight calls for partly cloudy skies, low temperature dropping to 15 degrees with northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly sunny, seasonably cold, high temperature at 29. 9 degrees. As we check out future track, you can see those temperatures dropping into the middle teens by early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, look for highs in the upper 20s. Now, a weak cold front will drop in tomorrow night, bringing perhaps a couple of flurries, and then skies clear out, and then that's when the temperatures drop into the single digits by early on Wednesday morning, with wind chills perhaps as cold as 10 below zero. And on Wednesday, look for high temperatures only in the upper teens. But the 7 to 10 day forecast calls for a quick warm up. Temperatures jump up almost 20 degrees from Wednesday to Thursday, and then we're at or above 40 degrees from Friday into Monday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, just shy of 40 degrees, and I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 40 on those days, but you don't see any snow in that forecast until the day after Christmas, and that could be a mixture of rain and snow.
Wow.
Hope you're dreaming of a green Christmas this year, or brown, or whatever. We're going to get Gary singing here again.
Thank you.
All right. Pair of Badger football players write their names in the record book before heading off to the Rose Bowl. Stick around. Sports is next.
The Wisconsin volleyball team's chasing the first national title in program history. The Badgers won their previous 2 Final Four matches. They want to make that 3-for-3 Thursday against Baylor in Pittsburgh. Now, some players were taking finals Sunday morning after the sweep of Nebraska. Others will be taking them on the road. And despite the off-the-court work and having a target on their back, the Badgers think they're still playing their best volleyball.
I think we still can squeak out that 1 or 2% that we can really kind of just refine in our game and just get a little bit better. But definitely our practices leading up to Sweet 16 Elite 8 last week were awesome practices. I mean, just really going hard and getting after it. So, yeah, I think we're in a really good spot right now.
If it feels like deja vu, it is. Wisconsin running back Jonathan Taylor's a first-team AP All-American. Again, the only player on the roster to go back-to-back. Taylor won the Doak Walker Award for the second straight season, finished 5th in the Heisman balloting. JT, 23, rushed for more than 1,900 yards and racked up 26 total touchdowns this season. And yes, he is playing in the new Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Joining Taylor on the first team, junior center Tyler Biadasz. Big fella also won the Remington Award this year, started all 40 games he's played at Wisconsin. He would be an NFL draft pick if he declares, but stopped short of saying what his future plans are for after this season. The Bucs have won 18 in a row, consecutively, one after the other, too shy of tying the franchise record set in 1971. Tonight, the Deer hosting the Mavericks, who are without MVP candidate Luka Doncic. Sprained his ankle this weekend. The Bucs played from behind most of the night. Kristaps Porzingis from the Antler drills a three. The Mavs were up 15 with 3 minutes to go, but the Bucs make a run, down 5. 7.6 to go. Giannis and 1. He had 48 points in the game. Here's the and 1. Misses the free throw. Sterling Brown rebounds, gets blocked by Porzingis, out of bounds off Brown. Mavericks hold on to win 120-116, ending the Bucs streak at 18. The Brewers signed 32-year-old right-hander Josh Lindblom to a 3-year deal. If you haven't heard of him before, you didn't miss anything. He just played most of the last 5 years in Korea, where he won the MVP last year. Lindblom has some major league experience, but reinvented himself with the help of his coaches in Asia.
Continue to refine, continue to develop, continue just to get better. Facing players in Asia provides some different challenges, the way the guys hit. So I knew that I needed to adapt. I knew that I needed to just get better overall. And if there was an opportunity to come back here, I needed to be the best.
Former Badgers JJ, TJ, and Derek Watt all play in the NFL, but they're on 3 different teams. Trey, Terrell, and Tremaine Edmonds all played in the same game last night. Trey and Terrell for the Steelers, Tremaine for the Bills. Mom and Dad have a gear issue going on. The last time this happened, 1927, when Joe, Cobb, and Bill Rooney all played for the Duluth Eskimos. Trey went to Maryland, the other 2 to Virginia Tech. The Bills won the game. A lot of family minutes on the cell phone being blown up afterward, for sure. We're back after this.
There's our extended forecast. All I want for Christmas is snow, but not going to see it there. In fact, I was just looking at the latest computer models. We might have to increase those temperatures a bit.
Ooh.
Karaoke at Gary's house. Do something good. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Now.